It's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm so glad that you chose to come back for another day of a thread of hope, walking the footsteps of Jesus in the Old Testament. So I have to share with you before we start. I made a plan of what this was going to look like and who I was going to talk about on what days. And that kind of went out the window early on. And so I've been doing it week by week, trying to keep it as close as I could to the original. So just so you know, this week we were supposed to get all the way through 2 Samuel. We're not going to, that's not going to happen. And I'm okay with that. But it made me laugh because it's such a perfect contrast to God's redemption plan that we see throughout the Bible so that we can be with him in heaven, and how that plan came and he made it and he never faltered from it. And I have erased and changed things and moved things and done all kinds to my plan because I'm human and I'm really okay with it, and I still think I can make it work. But it just makes me laugh how it's nothing that shows the divine nature of our mighty God. He is perfect, and he does not have these little problems of not being able to follow the plan that he originally set. He's perfect, and his plan was set in motion thousands of years ago, and it has not changed. It has not faltered. He is who he says he is. He does what he says he's going to do, and we can count on that. And isn't that a beautiful blessing? So moving into the book of Ruth, which I think was written so beautifully, just different from so many of the other books of the Bible. So it opens with Naomi as she's lost her husband and her 2 sons, and her whole world has shattered. And she loves her daughters-in-law, but she says to them, I am bitter, I am grieving, I am not worth following. You need to go back to your homelands. And Orpah says that she will, and her daughters-in-law are Moabites. And Orpah says that she will go back to her land, even though there was a very beautiful goodbye. But Ruth says no. And my favorite verse from this book: where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people are my people, and your God is my God. I love that. The love that she has for Naomi is that big. And I have to believe that her belief in God made it okay. So I can feel Naomi's grief, and I wonder, was Ruth afraid to go back to her homeland with her? Because Israel law said you couldn't marry outside of Israel. And here both of her sons had done that. Was she afraid? She doesn't appear to be. So they go back to her homeland, or to her town, Naomi's town. And Ruth meets a gentleman named Boaz. And we watch their budding relationship and how they kind of dance through that. And we see in Naomi talking about Boaz and how he won't rest until he can get an answer about his guardian redeemer role, that it's pretty intense. We don't know why she knows that, but we know it. So I would love to know what Boaz is thinking. He approaches the first in line for the guardian redeemer role of Naomi's property, who just happens to be walking by when Boaz goes to look for him. God's timing, God's redemption, it's just beautiful. And God's redemption plan includes this romance and Boaz winning Ruth as his bride. So one of the things that I love about this book is the humanness. It's not about a king. It's not about a priest. It's not about a prophet and their family. It's not royalty. It's ordinary. It's an ordinary Israel, or ordinary Israel families coming together in ordinary ways with the extraordinary hand of God, of course. And it gives us a glimpse into that real world of the Israelites. So you may be wondering, this whole book of Ruth, what that we went through, which I wasn't intending to spend a lot of time on, but it's such a beautiful story. What does that have to do with Jesus? So let's get into that. Do you know who Boaz's mother is? Rahab. Rahab and Salmon is how I'm going to say it, are Boaz's parents. Rahab is in the lineage. I told you, was one of the women named in the lineage of Jesus. Rahab and Ruth, neither of which are Israelite women, are both in the lineage of Jesus, and both are named in the lineage of Jesus. This is the beautiful thread that God uses to weave that redemption plan into the beautiful tapestry that we call the Bible. Again, who could come up with this plan where a woman who we know is a prostitute, there's questions about what that meant at that time, but still she was a Canaanite woman. And then Ruth, a Moabite woman. They're in the lineage and named in the lineage of Jesus. And to me, that is just a glimpse of how someday, not particularly in that moment, God's redemption plan is for everyone, not just for the Israelites. So Monday, we are going to jump into Samuel, and we're going to take a look at Hannah's amazing faithfulness and her sacrifice. And we're going to get just a glimpse into Samuel as a type of Christ. So we'll start into 1st and 2nd Samuel. I'd like to say we'd make it all the way through, but who knows where my head will be on Monday, because I don't have the perfect plan. Mine is ever changing. So thank you for tuning in again today. And until Monday, well, Sunday we will have our meditation, and then Monday we will start the book of Samuel. Have a great weekend.